We have not seen all the dogs and cats. They will be up. Most of them are receiving some sort of veterinary care or being sent to a veterinary hospital. And of course, there's going to be a large adoption that will be set up within the next week or so. So be on the lookout for that if you are interested in adopting any of these pets.
So from what I've been told, okay, a friend of mine has an animal rescue in Southern California, and she's very tied in with a lot of the different animal rescues in this area of California, in Southern California. And what she explained to me is, no, these dogs will not be going up for adoption immediately. There has to be an investigation, which means these dogs all have to be distributed out to the surrounding counties, their animal shelters, San Bernardino, Riverside, I believe Pomona, Los Angeles. All of these different animal shelters are going to have to absorb these dogs in. And since they are doing an investigation, they have to be essentially kenneled and they can't be adopted for a certain period of time. Well, all of these animal shelters are already full, and they are not no-kill shelters, which means in order for them to make room for all of these dogs that are currently up for adoption and available for adoption at these shelters will have to be put down. In addition to that, the space that they open up for all these dogs, those are going to be occupied kennels. The dogs can't be adopted for a certain period of time. That means those kennels are essentially taken off the dog adoption market. So the question here is, were these dogs kept in such horrific conditions that it justifies essentially having to put down 300 dogs? Because that's essentially what's going to happen. In order to make room for these dogs, a lot of dogs are going to have to get put down. So we should make sure that, I mean, I'm not saying that this Rock and Paws did nothing wrong, but you got to sort of weigh your cost benefit analysis here. And what my friend who runs a dog rescue also told me is that a lot of these dog rescue organizations, they get overwhelmed super fast because there's an insane amount of stray dogs, dogs that get abandoned, dogs that are in horrific condition in homeless encampments all over California. And these dog rescue organizations, they start off with the best intentions, but they can only get permits for, 10, 20, 30 dogs or whatever. And once they get full and they're asked to take on another dog, they have to make the call, like, to tell this person that, no, we can't take on this dog and this dog's going to have to get put down, or are they going to take it in, sort of try and do it under the radar? So this could have been a rescue organization that got in way over their head, or maybe they weren't even in over their head. They just weren't permitted to take that many dogs, because as you'll see in a lot of this footage, these dogs did not look like they were in poor condition. They didn't look like they were underfed. They didn't look like they had mange. They looked okay, and they were generally in good spirits. So let's watch another video. So this is from Paul Miller. He says, they took her animals. Now a shelter owner fights for what she believes is right. Yesterday, we told you about the massive raid at Rock and Paws Rescue in Lake Hughes. Now, owner Chris Deanda says she's upset, has no plans to let this go, and is ready to go to court. Investigators initially said 700 animals were on site, but later clarified it was around 300. The investigators revolve around animal welfare allegations, but Chris is ready to fight for her side of the story. Stay tuned as this battle unfolds. So let's go to this clip here. This is from Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Because the dogs were not emaciated or anything.
The owner of a local animal rescue organization extremely upset after her property was raided today and hundreds of dogs and cats in her care were seized by LA County animal control workers. The owner of Rock and Paws Animal Rescue.
So you saw those dogs there. Here, let's go back. Just watch this tiny little clip. This is, just freeze frame right there. You've got, these labs, they might be brother and sister, and they're not underweight. They look clean. They look like they've been bathed recently. So they're being fed, they're being bathed, and look how happy they look. Like they're dogs. And, would you rather them be kenneled and, the owner of this organization takes them out every day to play? They have a rotation. They have a system of how they care for these dogs. But because they're over the amount of dogs that they're allowed to have, they should all be put down. And her rescue organization is taken off the market. So again, look at the condition of these dogs here.
Upset after her property was raided today and hundreds of dogs and cats in her care were seized by LA County animal control workers.
I see tails wagging, dogs the correct weight, clean dogs. The facilities don't look bad at all. This is just what I'm seeing right off the bat.
The owner of Paws Animal Rescue says the raid was totally unnecessary, and she says she wants the animals returned to her care. Eyewitness News reporter Amy Powell spoke to her tonight and has the story from Lake Hughes.
The woman who lives on the property says she's very upset that her animals were taken away. She says they're very well cared for, and she plans to fight to get them back.
My animals were not a threat to anybody. They were healthy. They were cared for.
Christianda is frustrated and angry about the seizure of her dogs and other animals by LA County's Animal Care and Control Department. A search warrant was served at Deanda's Lake Hughes home this morning. The department responding to tips claiming hundreds of dogs and cats were living in inhumane conditions. Workers spending hours at the property conducting a rescue operation. They expected to find 700 animals, but the number turned out to be lower.
We estimate about 200 to 300. We don't have an exact number.
Some of the animals were treated at the property before being removed and transferred to hospitals and the county's animal care centers. According to Deanda, she had 238 dogs, along with several cats, a pig, and a goose. She says she's been building kennels to create an animal rescue.
The animals were cleaned every day. The animals were rotated out into yards every single day. Every single dog is happy.
But
see, right, I am not siding with the county on this. So far, I adopted my first dog, Molly. She was a lab Great Dane mix. I adopted her from a place called Pets and Pals in Lodi, and they were a no-kill shelter. And one of the things that I loved about this shelter is they had a big open area, and each dog in the kennel was paired up with another dog that they were friends with, and they got to go out and play on this in this grass field that was about half the size of a football field every day for an hour. So if this person just said too that the dogs were rotated, they were taken out and put in an open play area. You saw footage of 5 different dogs playing together. I mean, even if these dogs never get adopted, they're not living. Like, compare this to how a dog lives, like a dog that is in a homeless encampment. These dogs are abused, they are underfed. I mean, this is like the best possible situation that I can tell for a dog that has been rescued from the streets. And if they can't be adopted, I mean, these are better conditions than a lot of the kennels you see that are run by counties. A lot of those kennels are indoor concrete kennels that, they don't get out. They live all day in that cage, and it's essentially a dog prison. I mean, from everything I'm seeing, this actually looks like it's a pretty well-run facility. Yeah, the trash doesn't look good, but it's not like this trash heap was kept in the same kennels as the dogs. And, if they're not leaving piles of dog poop around, if they're feeding the dogs every day, the dogs are getting washed. They don't have like a mange outbreak, a distemper outbreak, or, a Bordetella outbreak or anything like that. And I mean, even if they do, if they have a quarantine facility for those dogs, if some sort of outbreak occurs, I mean, from everything I'm seeing, this actually looks like a well-run dog rescue. So that's just what I'm seeing so far.
residents of homes in the area say there's been a foul odor coming from the property for a couple of years.
That sucks. It sucks to be the neighbor, and but that could be a separate complaint on its own. If the neighbors complain that the odor, the dogs barking is annoying them, then they can send the county, and the county can maybe write them a ticket for, you got to do a better job of cleaning up the dog waste, maybe keep the dog waste in a separate area that's not so downwind to your neighbors. But I mean, if this property is already zoned for this type of thing and the neighbors, I don't know. I sympathize with the neighbors, dog poop doesn't smell good, but let's see what the neighbors have to say.
It's been smelly, and whenever they go out to feed, I'm assuming that that's what they're doing. It sounds like the world's biggest dog fight.
Animal Care and Control says this has been a lengthy effort, the department receiving complaints for years.
The odor is horrific. There's no septic system on the property for the kennel.
Septic system? Dogs don't use toilets. They poop on the ground. Like, okay.
They have gone without dumpsters for months on end.
Deanda refused to surrender the animals to department staff, but all of the animals have been removed from the home.
There's nothing that I can do. I'm a very stoic person. I'm very sad about the whole situation, and I can't wait to go to court.
Amy Powell, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
So, I mean, they're making this out to seem that, like, you would expect these dogs to be emaciated, you know, skinny, underfed. And if that was the case, I would probably not be defending her so much. But the dogs weren't underfed. They weren't emaciated. There was no disease running rampant through the facility. I mean, the biggest complaints that I'm seeing are that it smelled bad and there was a lot of dogs there. Okay. I mean, to remove these dogs from the facility, you're going to have to put down the same amount of dogs that are already in shelters. And the kennels that these dogs are now placed into, these dogs now can't be adopted, and those kennels are occupied, so you can't take in any more dogs. The amount of money that this cost, I mean, every single truck that was deployed, how much did this raid cost? $1 million? Imagine if that $1 million was donated to the facility and it was used to upgrade kennels, maybe even open up, fund somebody else's dog rescue organization so they could take, you know, we're going to take half these dogs off your hands and put them in another rescue organization. I don't know. I'm not seeing the justification for what they did here. Could there have been another route? Because you're going to have to put down 300 dogs because of this. And we have a dog rescue crisis going on in California right now. So this is her Instagram page. Let's go to it. And she takes videos. We'll just scroll through her videos here. So this is the facility. Here's some of the dogs. The dogs look great. They look clean. The dogs look clean. The dogs look the proper weight. They're not like vicious dogs attacking. They're not using the dog sticks. They just put them on leashes and the dogs look happy. Let's watch a few more of the videos. Here's a pit bull, and you can see the dog is not underweight, looks happy and healthy. It's just hanging out there on a leash. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think this is justifiable. Here's another picture of a small dog. Fur isn't matted. Looks clean. Looks the correct weight. The way this is being reported isn't nearly. You would expect the dogs to be in much worse condition. These dogs don't look. They don't look like they're in bad shape. I will continue to post this is her Instagram page. She says, I will continue to post the documentation I took. They removed my phone, so I was not able to document everything. I did my best to get pictures of all the dogs. Okay, here's another picture. Another dog, not underweight. Looks like it's actually a 3-legged dog. Yeah, I'm not seeing it, folks. There's another picture of a dog. I mean, if anything, that dog looks freaking heavy. Looks overfed. I will continue to post. Okay, so same thing. I mean, some of these dogs, it's like, oh, this is like a good-looking dog. You'd expect it to get adopted. Like this looks like a Great Pyrenees, maybe. Yeah, it's tall. It's got the lab face with the thick coat. And, yeah, it looks like Great Pyrenees. Dog looks like it's in great shape, actually. I don't know, guys. I'm not seeing this. Let's read some comments here. Yara Ven, nice to see you. The press release was super alarming compared to what we see, and yet Skid Row is ignored. Exactly. And I messaged Darren Stallcup, who's out there with what's his name, Nick Shirley right now. He's out there at Skid Row, and I was like, hey, I know you guys are working on something else, but are you guys coming across a lot of dogs at these encampments? He hasn't gotten back to me yet, but hopefully he will. So yeah, just some more pictures. I mean, smiling. Like, this dog is in great shape right here. It's clean, well groomed, not underfed. I'm having trouble understanding the justification for this. Look how sad this one looks. Being carried away, tail between its legs. Again, not underweight, well groomed, well fed. Yeah, we'll keep going here. So I think you guys are seeing sort of my point. And I'm not saying that this rescue organization did nothing wrong, but did it justify taking all of these dogs? And how many dogs are going to have to get put down because of this? I don't think I agree with this. I had my friend in Southern California who runs what's her organization called? Healing Hounds. Her organization is called Healing Hounds. My friend Alex in Southern California. And I asked her if she'd look into this, and she was actually going to come on the show, but she had a dog emergency that she had to take care of. And what she tells me is like, no, it's so hard running a dog rescue organization. It really is like a thankless effort. You don't get funding. You don't get like taxpayer funding. It's all just donations from people. And apparently recently, dog fostering, dog adoption, and donations have all just dried up recently. And it's probably because everything's so expensive in California and people can't afford dogs. And also during COVID, during the lockdowns, tons of people adopted dogs. And then when lockdowns were lifted and people had to go back to work, tons of people just dumped their dogs at the shelters. It's horrible. There's actually something similar going on in the United Arab Emirates right now because people are fleeing the United Arab Emirates because of the Iran war, and they're just leaving their pets behind. And it's a horrible situation over there. But the point is, these dog rescue organizations are doing the best they can. And they made it out to seem like this lady did this like maliciously, like she was hoarding dogs. You know, you'd expect to find like a hoarder situation, but with dogs, emaciated dogs everywhere, dead dogs that are just like laying in the corner. It's none of that. All of these dogs look extremely well cared for, from what I can tell. And yeah, I'm not seeing this. Bulldog, that's a Pyrenees. Yeah, that's what I thought it was too. This is just a lab mix here. I mean, we'll look at some more of the pictures from her Instagram. Like here's another just random picture. Got a German Shepherd mix, just a total mutt down here. But look at like all of these dogs, you can't see the rib cage. The hips are like the area between the rib cage and the hips isn't super skinny. Like, this dog's hips are sticking up a little bit, but just could be old dog situation. But they don't have mange. Like they don't have matted fur. They're not underweight. Like these are the number one things that I'm looking for to see if this is a bad situation for these dogs. Okay, so now this is some of her. So this is her Instagram like pre-raid. She's taking pictures. Like, okay, let's look at this one. So this is a dog with a breather thing on. So she said it's Saturday night, and so this is before she was raided. She says it's Saturday night while I was doing my rounds checking on the puppies. I noticed one of them was straining and had suffered a prolapse. Knowing how critical it is to get medical care before the tissue is damaged, I grabbed him and rushed him to the nearest emergency vet over an hour away. He's receiving treatment now, but the emergency vet bill is more than we can handle alone. We truly need your support. If you're able to donate just $5, it would mean the world to us. So my friend that runs her rescue organization as well, it's the same thing. It's a 501c3, but she loses money doing this. She just loves dogs. And like that might sound weird to you guys, especially if you're not dog owners, but like me personally, I love dogs more than humans. I really do. Like when I see a dog walking down the street, you ask anybody that I work with or anybody that knows me, I say hi to every dog I see, and I want to rescue all the dogs. And I would lose money to help dog. Like, I mean, I just have one dog, and I've had emergencies. She got bit by, I think, a rattlesnake last year. I didn't have the money. I didn't have the money to fix it, but I took her to the emergency vet. I was like, I'll fucking figure it out. I'll do whatever I have to do to make sure my dog's okay. And this is the same vibe I'm getting from this person. She just loves dogs. It's her mission in life to save dogs. And now they're taking all of the dogs that she rescued away. And many of them, I'm sure, are going to have to get put down. But like these are called, these are called freedom videos, where they take videos of dogs, put some text, and they're trying to get them adopted. Like, that's their mission, finding dogs that end up at a kennel homes and giving them a good life. So here's Bruce. Little mutt. Like, look at him. Like, everything I'm seeing is signs of a good dog rescue. Everything that I'm saying. I'm not saying there's no bad dog rescues out there. There are plenty. And there are, people that there's kind of some scams that go on where, shelters will get donations for a dog, and then people will like find the lists of dogs that are up for adoption, and people will donate to, fund that dog's adoption, and then other shelters will take that dog and they get to collect all the donations. So there is shady shit that goes on within this community, but that's not the vibe that I'm getting from all of this. This looks like a responsible dog rescue to me. Another picture of dog, looks like it's in great shape. It's a mutt. Some sort of husky mix, most likely, judging by the eyes. Yeah, I'm not seeing it, you guys. I do not think that this place should have been raided. And again, it's like the amount of money that it cost, the amount of officers and different vehicles that they deployed, the cost to the county must have been astronomical. And think about if they just would have took all of the money that they put into raiding this in one day, if it went towards dog food, microchips, spay and neuter. Like, that's another thing that's like, my friend talks about how there should be stricter spay and neuter laws, all that kind of stuff, because that's how we end up with so many stray dogs. But I mean, this picture right here breaks my heart. This is a dog like laying on its back, being taken away. And it's like, no, don't take me. Rock and Paws says, due to recent media coverage, our personal information has been widely shared and we are now receiving serious threats. So, and that's what happens. That's the way they reported on this. It demonizes her and makes her look like a total piece of shit. And from what I'm seeing, it's the exact opposite of that. It's someone with like a heart of gold that made her mission in life rescuing as many dogs as possible and was actually pretty good at it. She says, I stay on the property to document as they pulled our dogs out using catch poles and dragging them. Some of the dogs have been injured by animal control. I will be posting every video and picture that I was able to take. My phone was originally removed and they did not want me calling people to come document. This has been reported and documented. We want to be clear. No charges have been filed and we are fully cooperating with authorities. So they didn't hit her with any charges. They didn't say she committed any crimes. Just like, nope, you got too many dogs, so we're taking all of them. We ask the public to act responsibly and allow the facts to come forward without harassment or threats. Our focus remains on safety and the well-being of the animals. So this is frustrating to me. This is extremely frustrating. So I don't know. You guys let me know, like, leave a comment under this video and let me know what you guys think, because I'm not seeing the justification for this personally. And when I saw Colin Rugg post that a giant dog kennel has been raided and they rescued 300 dogs, right off the bat, my first thought was, this is unfortunate. Kennels are full. Kennels are full right now. And all of the surrounding kennels are going to have to absorb these dogs. If the kennels are at capacity, which I'm sure all of them are, they don't have free kennels. You don't just have an extra kennel. So what does that mean? It means they have to ramp up their euthanasia deadline for a lot of these dogs. So a lot of the dogs that have been sitting at that kennel for the most amount of time that are available for adoption currently are going to get put down, because they now have to absorb all these dogs that look like they were already well cared for. So this is just extremely frustrating. This seems like an action that the only consequence of this action is going to be that dogs are going to be killed because of this. And they weren't in any danger. They weren't a threat to anybody. It's just the neighbors found it to be a nuisance. And the county said, nope, you're over your limit of the amount of dogs that you